Here's a question. Should you only go into teaching if you feel like it's a calling or you have a strong passion for it? Are there other reasons that a person might become a teacher? In this video, I'm going to give you reasons other than passion that someone might choose to be in education. A short story first. A little while ago, a friend of mine decided to retire. It was a couple years earlier than normally people retire. I asked her what led to the decision. Her husband was retiring and she was a couple years out, but she decided to go ahead and retire now so that she could retire with him. She also said, I've kind of lost the passion. I used to be the first one to get there in the morning. I used to be the last one to leave, but lately I just haven't felt like doing that anymore. And then she said, I think that if someone doesn't have that passion, they shouldn't be a teacher. I kind of pushed back a little bit and I said, there are other reasons that people become teachers, and does it really have to be their passion? And she said, this is one career that I really think it has to be. If they don't have the passion, they should get into something else. I don't know if that's true. You probably have heard similar sentiments. I've heard them throughout the time I've been teaching, things like, this is my dream job, or it's been my life's desire to be a teacher, or I feel like teaching is a calling. Now, when I hear people say that, I believe that they think that, but I didn't. And every time I hear that, I think, wow, is there something wrong with me? Am I in the right profession? I always think, I must be a fraud. Isn't it weird that just recording this video, I am thinking about how exactly I can say that maybe sometimes I don't want to be in the classroom. And it makes me pause and reconsider how to say it, because I'm concerned that people will see me or this video, maybe people actually watch it and then think, oh no, she doesn't want to be in the classroom. It's not calling for her. She shouldn't be in the classroom. But I think there are lots of other reasons that people become teachers, and they're not always related to it being a passion. There are some functional and realistic reasons to be in education, and how I think that even if calling is not at the top of your list, it's still a good career for some different reasons. As you watch this, think about, why did you become a teacher? Leave a comment if you became a teacher because of some other more practical reason. So you could probably guess for the question of, does it need to be a calling for you to become a teacher? My humble opinion is no, it doesn't. Should you be kind to the students and do your best and try to be a good teacher? That is true. You should be fair and kind to students. You should do your best to teach the curriculum that you need to teach in a clear way and get better at it within the amount of time you're paid for, of course. If you find that you no longer have the students' best interests at heart, and that you're not willing to do the best that you can within the time given, then it might be time to find another job. But I don't think that people should feel that because it's not a passion or a calling or a lifelong dream that they necessarily need to leave the classroom. Now, let's talk about other reasons that people might decide to be a teacher. The number one reason, of course, is lots of time off. The reason I'm going to tackle this first is because it seems to get the most negative connotations. The weird part when people talk about that is they act like they can't do the same thing. They could go to school to be a teacher, to have the summers off and all that other time. I have a lot of people who act like it's unfair that we get the summer off, but they could become a teacher too. This is the job. I'm going to frame it like a job offer. We will employ you. We're going to offer you a job of a seasonal employee. You'll work about 9 months out of the year. You're going to have the summers off because that's your off season. You also will get 2 weeks off in the winter, a week off in the springtime, sort of a week-ish in the fall, and then of course you'll get a lot of the major holidays off that are not in the summer. Doesn't that sound like a great deal? Just think if you could plan your life like that. If you could plan your life and your finances around this idea of you will work 9 months out of the year, imagine how much fun that would be. In fact, I've known 2 couples who have done that. One couple, several years ago, they were both teachers. The husband even came to teaching a little bit later. I don't know about the wife, but they had kids and they got the same time off as their children because they're in the same district and as each other. So they spent a ton of time camping and going out in nature and things like that. And they planned their life around that. The other pair, they were married and they both worked for the district, but they didn't have any kids. And in the summertime or off seasons, they would travel internationally and do all these great big trips. And they planned their life around it and they planned their finances around that. Imagine what that would be like to have planned finances for 9 months of working, but all this other time off, and take advantage of it and have your life just like that. That would be awesome. And even though I'm only working for 9 of the months, I still get a solid paycheck the whole time. And I've heard some negative videos about this, how that isn't, I don't know what it is that people don't like about that. I think it's great because then I don't have an up and down. I have consistent finances. And think about this, you're actually guaranteed your job for the following year. Most of the time, the calendar is set up during the current school year for the next year. So you can even plan all your trips and make all your reservations way ahead of time with the idea that if you have time off, you're going to take a trip if that's what you want to do. Of course, those 9 months are very hectic, but just think about all the perks of having the time off. My psychic powers are going off now, and I can just hear you thinking, but I do work over the summer. I do planning, I do learning, I do all these things. And maybe I even grade papers over winter break or spring break. But some of that is your choice. And I know it feels sometimes like you don't really have a choice, that's what you have to do to feel prepared, but it's still a choice that you're making. You could really take those breaks and use them as real breaks and stop doing all the summer planning unless you really, really want to, or all of the take-home grading unless you really, really want to. Then this is actually a really good deal to be a teacher and have those 9 months on and broken up and then that big chunk in the summer. And can I just say, if you have teammates that have made this commitment and are not working over the summer or very minimally, or they're not doing things over break, you need to accept them that they have gotten to that point where they're going to do that and not judge them harshly because they're not willing to donate their time anymore. They're not willing to spend time grading or talking about things on Sunday for Monday because that is their time off. It is something that you can strive for, and don't give people a hard time because they've gotten to that point or they have drawn a line of not doing things during this break time. My own opinion is it could be a goal for you too to really take advantage of those times when you are not on contract. I would ask you to strive to capture this perk and take full advantage of it. Thank you for watching, and please know that for whatever reason you became a teacher, it's a valuable and important job, and people are grateful even though we may not hear that as much as people would like. It is still a good career for lots of different reasons. Remember, you are plenty, and it's okay to be an average teacher.